Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Mikel, regarding your team selection, how much will Newcastle be on your mind?
Nothing. We just have to beat West Ham. It's a competition that we have the chance to progress and win a trophy, and our mindset is going to be focused just on West Ham.
How big an opportunity is this for your team when you think Manchester City, who have such a great recent history, as you well know about personally, and you know what it can do for a group of players to win that first trophy of the season? How big an opportunity is it to progress and be right in the mix at the end of this competition?
Doing what we are doing, being consistent, playing better than the opponent, and tomorrow against West Ham is going to be a really tough game. It always is away from home against them, and continue with the momentum and the form that we are in. That's it.
A similar approach to the last round again, similar. You were away against the Premier League side, and some of those players who maybe hadn't got the minutes, got opportunities and got the job done.
Yes, and the context is a bit different because as well we picked some injuries and we don't have too much availability in terms of the squad. But yeah, and prepare the game the same way that we did there to try to win it.
Declan Rice likely to feature against West Ham for the first time?
He's likely. He's fit. He can be involved. It will be his first time back there at his old club, and a beautiful moment, I think, for him.
Is that part of your thinking, that going back to a former club can be a help to your team?
I think it's beautiful. I think I had experience to do it a few times, and then you really see what they think of you and what you left at the club, and it's a really good way to measure your experience and your reality within the reality of the people that share moments with you.
In your mind, will he get a good reception given how long he was there? And
I would say so. I hope so. I think, and especially every time you hear him talk about West Ham and what they did for him and everybody at the club, he cannot talk any higher. So hopefully, it will be the same way towards him.
I was going to ask about Eddie Nketiah as well, off the back of a brilliant hat-trick. Again, you talk about the injuries. Jesus is one of those. Given maybe your light in that area with the injury, do you have to manage his minutes this week, or do you like the thought of him getting momentum off the back of a hat-trick?
Both. We have to be conscious with the amount of minutes that they play. He has started a lot of games in the Premier League, but I think in terms of how we have utilized him, I think he's fresh and he's in a really good moment. So when players are like this, they have to be used, whether we do it as a starter on the bench, we will see.
Just a final one for me on the Ballon d'Or last night. Yeah. Messi winning for the 8th time. In your mind, was it the right decision?
When you talk about Messi, he can never be wrong. I think, what he's done. He won the World Cup at his age. It was the pinnacle of his career. Everybody was expecting it. It's just incredible. The consistency that he's shown, the level that he's put world football into, I think it's incredible. I'm so glad as well that we had a few nominated as well in those lists.
Have you had a chance to speak to some of the players that have been involved in that list in your squad? Have they taken that on with the confidence you would expect?
Yeah, pride. It's always good to look at yourself there next to those names and in those lists. So it's a compliment for them for what they've done, and now the challenge is to be higher up the list next season, because that will mean that you've done it again. Thank you.
Martin again. We know now that Martin's been struggling with that little hip problem. Is tomorrow a chance to rest him completely again?
Well, we'll rest him the day, innit? So it's how long we rest him and how we manage now the minutes and the rhythm that he needs as well to be at his best. So yeah, we had the opportunity to do it. We didn't use him at the end, so that was a good offload for him.
Is it a case of just rest? There's no other way you can treat an injury like that, I suppose, is there?
It's not only that, it's a lot of things that you have to do. It's impossible to play with no niggles in football. At this level, when you have games every 3 days, it's impossible. If you try to do that, you better stay in bed, because I don't know any players there that are constantly perfect to be in the best possible condition. So you have to adapt to that.
He obviously received that little bit of criticism for his performances, but in some way should he be commended for wanting to play on even when there's clearly a bit of a problem?
But every player is the same, you know. They are all willing to push any boundary. We have players that they're supposed to be 6 weeks out, and they were back in 3.5, 4 weeks for big matches and made an incredible impact. And when you talk about changing the mentality, this is a big thing, you know. And not only him, but all the physios and doctors and everybody pushing in the same direction. Your teammates pushing you to demand you to be there because you are needed, and that's what we need.
You mentioned there about pushing to be back, and I know Gabriel Jesus is a player specifically like that. Is there any more news on time frame for that, or is it still just wait and see?
With him, honestly, I'm not going to put any because I did it once and I got it totally wrong. We need to be cautious, you know, because we need to treat it in the right way. But he's already pushing everybody, you know. He wants to be back as quick as possible, and we need him, so that's great.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
In the midfield, obviously, you've got a lot of experience for rotation. Jorginho, El Neni, Partey, I know he's out, but there's some experience in that midfield. Is having players of that age bracket important in squad building?
It is. I think age is something, but after the experiences that those boys had and the human qualities of those are exceptional. So you just mentioned Mo. The way he lived those 6-7 minutes that he was on the pitch, you know, after 10 months out, the way everybody looks at him is just fundamental for me. I always said that he's one of the most important players because what he brings to the team, even when he's not playing every week.
And all those players I mentioned, they are reaching towards the end of their contract lengths as well. And when it comes to planning for the future, is it important then to replace that experience again with experience, or can you think it can be grown from within as well?
Or maintain.
Or maintain?
Yes, for sure, and that will be part of the plan. I think it's something critical for our squad, and as well the way the squad is designed and the profiles that we have. That they have always players there that can be role models of the field, but very important as well that those players can as well be respected for what they do on the pitch, and we have a few of them that are really good.
And one player in that area that's doing really well away from the club is Charlie Patino at the moment. There's a lot of talk in the summer about he might look to move away to get more time permanently. Is there a pathway still for him at Arsenal to get back?
There's always pathway, and when we make decision on those kind of players, is always to keep an eye on them and see can we evolve the squad in a way, and the first thing that we do is look what we have internally.
James from ESPN.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
On Friday, you weren't too sure about Thomas Partey in terms of timescale. Presumably, he's had more scans now. Have you got any more clarity about that?
I think he will be out for weeks. I don't know how long, but yes, he's got another appointment today, and we will see more after that.
Is there any sort of wider concern about his injury record? Because he ever since he signed, he's had sort of new problems that he seems to have had to manage spells in and out of the team.
Yes, it's a big concern because when Thomas is fit and available and he's been part of the team, we've seen what the results and the impact that he had in the team. This season we have more protection, especially for that reason as well, because we know in the last 2 seasons what had happened and the impact that I had in the team. So we have to address that. And now it's happened, and it happened in football. I'm so sorry for him because I think he's doing every single thing that he can do right to be there. He was gutted. We are all for him, but he needs to lift himself up again with our support and go again, because he's a player that is critical for us.
And just on this competition, every year there's a sort of wider debate about whether this competition matters. You know, is it where it ranks in the priorities? A lot of teams rotate heavily during this competition. Does it matter to you?
Yeah, I live it exactly the same in the Premier League tomorrow. I have the same thing in my tummy, the same uncertainty, the same way to prepare, and I'm going to be there closer to the game, and I just want to win the game, for sure.
Obviously, you've won the FA Cup, you won the Community Shield at the start of the season, but for this group, what could it do to win this trophy? A lot of managers have used this competition in the past as kind of a stepping stone onto bigger prizes. Is that the way you see it?
I do, and as well because even if you are doing rotations, I think the role of the players that now are committed to challenge for this trophy or this game, I think it's critical for them to show what they can do, and when they are really important, when they are given the chance on a moment when you are in or out, how you're going to approach that game and how you're going to win the game for the team. And I think if you want to grow as a team and you don't have that mindset, it's very difficult. So the mindset of every 3 days, being able to do it in different way, in different contexts, when you have a big game next to it, or when you just played in Champions League or another big game here, it's okay, what's the behavior of the team, how the team responds to that, I think is very important.